Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Mazes okay here. I'm sorry that I came late. Been battling with a couple of issues, but now, thank God I'm here. This evening, we are going to be looking at the criminality, and we're going to be doing some, criminality within the government, and we are going to be doing some expose. Sorry. So we are going to be doing I believe you can hear me loud and clear. So let me start again. I can I can hear myself loud and clear. So good evening once more, everyone. My name is still Mazes, okay, and I welcome you to this late night broadcast and evening conversation with you. Just lend me your ears. I want to take my time and do some expose as to how the federal government of Nigeria is actually lying to Nigerians. We are not talking about the plane that they bought that have raised some questions actually. How how did they manage to buy that plane? Who budgeted for it? And was the news that the Chinese seized that plane actually a fluke? I don't know. I do not have all the answers. But there is something that actually should bother you. Anyone listening to the sound of my voice this evening, this should bother you. And what is it? It's a very simple thing, people. Let's crack on and let's get on with this. Recall that recently, um, the day the current president was sworn in, he said to Nigerians that subsidy is gone. Have you forgotten? You know, there is an adage from my people that say when you break palm kernel with stones, if you do not count, the stone with which you are breaking that palm kernel counts for you. And in this case, let's bring in here 29th of May 2023. This happened at Eagles.
The first subsidy is gone.
According to the Star Boy, the fuel subsidy is gone. Now, please lend me your ears. Let us explore something together as a people. I believe that the Nigerian government is not telling Nigerians the truth. Nigerian government is lying to Nigerians, and here are my reasons. Number one, recall that we are told that fuel subsidy is gone. But let me bring in Mele Kiare here. That's the GMD of Nigerian, that is the NNPC, right? So let's quickly listen to him here. Listen to pay attention to the words he's going to use. These things are on camera. Pay attention.
I told you there is no subsidy whatsoever. We are recovering our full cost from the products that we import.
Did you hear that? I told you there is no subsidy. We are recovering our full, FULL, our full cost. Again, let's listen to that. Our full cost. There is a reason why I want you to pay attention to this. He said, we are recovering our full cost, meaning if we go and buy petrol because they do not produce, the only country on the planet Earth where for so many years you would employ men, women, boys, girls to work for you, they produce absolute nothing, zilch, yet you keep paying them every month. Right. Listen to him once more and let him say.
I told you there is no subsidy whatsoever. We are recovering our full cost from the products that we import. We sell to the market. We understand why the marketers are unable to import. We hope that they do this very quick, and this is some of the intervention government is doing. There is no subsidy.
Okay, there is no subsidy. We don't argue with him. There is no subsidy. But why do you think that the government may be lying to us? They say there is no subsidy. Okay, there is no subsidy. But let's listen to this one here.
I think
Pay attention. No, there are a couple of videos that are floating around there. I decided to go to the NNPC website, not the one shared by Bayo Ononuga, so that nobody can deny anything. Here, listen again carefully. This was a press conference that was done today. Umar, I believe is his name, right? That's that is Umar Aliyu. That is his name. Umar Aliyu, CFO of NNPCL. That is the Chief Financial Officer. Before was the GMD. Now we are talking about the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. You see, the reason why I'm giving you this title is that you understand that the people who are speaking are people with information. They are not anyone you can pick from the street. These are people with information. Now, listen to him here, what he says.
I think there is one fact that I need to make very clear. That's in the last 8 or 9 years.
Now, pay attention. He says, in the last 8 or 9 years, that means since Buhari came in, since the time of Ibe Kachukwu, since they told us that they removed subsidy, right? It's not now Tinubu. Since the last 9 or 8 years, Oga, what has been happening? And listen to him.
This company, even corporation as it were, has not paid anybody a dime or 1 naira as subsidy.
Okay. Buhari did not pay subsidy. That's what he's telling us now. Yet, Buhari himself said from June, from last week of June 2023, that is when they budgeted for subsidy last. And you ask yourself, if in the last 9 years they've not been paying for subsidy, what have they been doing? Interesting. Listen to him again.
No one has been paid kobo by NNPC as in the name of subsidy. That means no marketer has received money from us.
Okay, I agree. It's not like the time of Goodluck Jonathan regime. They no longer pay subsidy. Bravo, bravo. Where is the applause? Bravo. They no longer pay subsidy, right? Question. What are we doing? And here is the answer.
By way of subsidy. What has been happening is that we've been importing PMS, landing at a certain price, at a cost price, and government is telling us to sell it at half price.
You import PMS because you are incapable and you do not have the brains to refine crude oil, something you produce. You import PMS, you bring into Nigeria. Government is telling you to sell it at half price. Government is telling you to sell it at half price. Now compare that to what this man said here, the GMD. Compare that to what he
There's
said.
no subsidy whatsoever. We are recovering our full cost from the products that we import.
Now, the head is saying we are recovering our full cost. The other one is saying, no, we are not recovering the full cost. We bring in this product and government is paying the half. Please, when government pays the half, how does the government get the money to pay? Through NNPC. If it's not subsidy, or okay, maybe subsidy is the word, what are they paying it for?
It means no marketer has received money from us by way of subsidy. What has been happening is that we've been importing PMS, landing at a certain price.
You see, when they want to lie, they will suddenly develop dementia. They will no longer remember figures. This is the chief financial officer. He says they import at a certain price. If he wants to be transparent, he would give us the figures that this is the amount we import this petrol for. But hey, let us stay with his certain price. But let us then know why they do not sell at full cost. Even when, what? I mean, I don't know, Nigerians, if these things are not making you guys go gaga. If we are still bridging this gap, why did PMS go from 140 something to 900 or to 618 that he went under Tinubu when he took over? If they are still paying the same bridging gap, listen, let somebody explain this thing. Let this make sense.
Importing PMS, landing at a certain price, at a cost price, and government is telling us to sell it at half price.
Government is selling you to sell it at half price. Is it not the same thing that was being done under Buhari? So why the sudden jump? How can he have jumped so high and still we are losing money by government subsidizing the same thing? I mean, it does not make sense.
So the delta between that landed price and the half price is what we call shortfall.
So it has moved from subsidy to shortfall. Guys, these guys are trying to play karo with our brains. How can adults be translating English with English? It's subsidy, for Christ's sake. You're subsidizing it. I want to go and buy bread. I have bread is 1,000 naira. I have 500 naira. You, through your benevolence, because you don't want me to go hungry, you gave me 500 naira. What have you done? You have subsidized my bread. But the language they want to now use is to say, oh, I gave Mazes, okay, 500 naira as a shortfall for his bread. What is that shortfall? What does that mean in economic terms? Is it not subsidy? If the same shortfall in his own mouth that in the last 9 to 8 years they've been paying it, even the time of Buhari, so why are we now paying petrol in the humongous figures that we are paying? This does not make sense. Not my words. Those are his words, saying that in the last 8, 9
There's
years.
one fact that I need to make very clear, that in the last 8 or 9 years, this company, even corporation as it were, has not paid anybody a dime or 1 naira as subsidy. No one has been paid kobo by NNPCL as in the name of subsidy. That means no marketer has received money from us by way of subsidy. What has been happening is that we've been importing PMS, landing at a certain price, at a cost price, and government is telling us to sell it at half price. So the delta between that landed price and the half price is what we call shortfall, or call it subsidy. And the deal is between Federation and ourselves to reconcile, and sometimes they give us money, sometimes we do net ups. So there is no money exchanging hands to any marketer or anybody in the name of subsidy.
These guys know us. Wallahi, these guys know us. This alone should actually prompt Nigerians to go to the street. I don't blame us. Chibika Amechi actually said it. That the reason why they are stealing is because we haven't stoned them. We haven't really dealt with them. I'm not kidding you. This is Chibika Amechi here saying it.
What do you do?
The reason why they steal, Chibika Amechi said it here, watch him. He said the reason why we steal is because you have not been able to stone us.
You see a thief and you allow him to be stealing, what do you do? You have stoned nobody, that's why we are stealing. You will stone me. Who have you stoned? few individuals are going away with the money. You have done nothing. You have had $50 billion, not 50 million naira. Not 50. You can say I'm stealing the basket, no problem. You can say as much as you want. It's good to steal if you can't fight back. You know, the problem is you have heard about $50 billion. Nobody is talking. You are debating whether can he talk to the president like that. Should we? How did you know he talked about it? Why should CBN governor even write about it in the first place? In some countries, people will be on the street until they return that money. $50 billion is 8 trillion naira. It will change Nigeria. If you see a thief and you allow him to be stealing, what do? You have stolen nobody. That's why we are stealing.
You have stolen nobody. That's why they are stealing. Here we are. Someone told you first subsidy is gone. What?
The first subsidy is gone.
The first subsidy is gone. The other one told you.
I told you there is no subsidy whatsoever. We are recovering our full cost from the products that we import. We sell to the market. We understand why the marketers are unable to import. We hope that they do this very quickly.
So the other one told you we are importing. However, we are recovering our money, all our money. That is the GSP.
That's me.
Now, the CFO tells you
No marketer has received money from us by way of subsidy. What has been happening is that we've been importing PMS, landing at a certain price, at a cost price, and government is telling us to sell it at half price.
well, I've done my job. If they explain Nigeria to you and you understand it, then you are not normal. If they explain Nigeria to you and you understand it, then you're not normal. The cable put these figures out for us to see. Okay, let us remove subsidy bill before NNPC cried out for help. Let's say subsidy shortfall before NNPC. However you want to look at it, these are figures. These are figures here. The humongous. Go read my article yesterday, published on Ginger Media. I think it was. I think they shared it on the community section. Because honestly, it's nothing short of basically calling it what it is. Bunch of criminals. Sorry. I mean, that's what it is. How can we be, on one hand, we are not paying subsidy. On the other hand, we are paying subsidy, and we keep going back and forth. Go read my article yesterday titled "Subsidy is Gone: Tinubu's First Subsidy Deception, a Costly Betrayal of Trust as Subsidy Drains 6.8 trillion from the Nigerian coffers. 6.8 trillion makes you get angry. Makes you get angry. 6.8 trillion. And what would, if they were paying this amount and fuel is still in the old price, then you say you're bridging. Of course, that's what you're doing. But we are paying effing high price on the premise that you have removed the effing fuel subsidy. Right? We are still bridging. Oh, I forgot. My brain said, sorry. We removed subsidy. Yeah, that's for Nigerians. Then we brought in bridge. Why did I not remember that? Oh, dear. Oh, dear me. Right? Look, let's listen to Obia Ezekwesili, for instance, on this economy. Listen to her brilliant.
Any of those who worked in that government is able to come out to defend where they left off as of May 28, 2023, and how they defend what they left for the country as the economy, the state of the economy. But I mean, there are those who will say,
What
"Look, got
exactly? I still don't understand.
The point I'm making is that those who worked in the last government will probably need some defending of what they did with the Nigerian economy.
Where are you all
Yeah,
in all of
but
that?
the question is that either we got a bad economy or we got a good economy. There is a new government in place. The question is that have they done a good job in the last 1 year from your own assessment?
You use the indicators. I mean, I'm always saying that in God I trust, but every other person must come with their data. And all the data, economic indicators, show clearly that they haven't done a good job of it.
Even when we got a very bad...
Yes, they've worsened it.
What would they have done with that bad situation? Could they have done anything better?
Well, I mean, for one, they could avoid the fiscal recklessness and rascality that we see. I mean, if you are Nigerian, you should be very vexed at this government. All that we have seen since this government came into office has been fiscal profligacy. I mean, profligacy. That's what we've seen.
Yeah.
They've been so
Irresponsible.
totally, I don't even know the word. I'm trying to not use harsh words, but it is difficult not to. Because if you see the divergence between what I know to be the daily pain and misery of the Nigerian poor person. I am a pastor's wife, so I get to be in the midst of all segments of society. I know what families are going through. I cry every day because of that. I cry when we read some of the texts that my husband, as pastor of a church, gets. And to see the political class of this country be totally reckless with scarce public resources, a country that is highly leveraged. Being highly leveraged means that we are overburdened with debt. We are crumbling under the weight of debt. When you talk about debt and these guys begin to tell you debt to GDP ratio, that's an incredible nonsense, because that is not the important indicator you use when you don't have the kind of GDP base and structure of economy and revenue, size and scale that those in advanced economies can do. What you are paying attention to is tax revenue or total revenue to debt. And the total revenue to debt has gone from 80%, to any numbers that are higher than that.
Now, that's our view. And my view is not far-fetched from what you just said. The current leaders that we have, not only that they are inept, they have no iota of sense of urgency that Nigerians are hungry. They basically, they want to take as if tomorrow, the world is ending today, right? In any way, shape, or form, they do not care. We're talking about people are hungry. Now, from nowhere, even when the Senate came to deny we have not bought any jet, suddenly we brought in a Boeing jet, an Airbus jet in Nigeria. Look at that, 150 million, 150 billion, as it were, right? As they pain, boom, the jet landed yesterday on Sunday night. Monday, the jet left Nigeria again. Just go to flight tracker, track the jet. You see the jet is in France already. In France to do what? They say he went to meet who? Meet who in France? I've been as a medical. Let me know. Anyway, that's a discussion for another day. So we are not the only ones vexed. Equally, Rufai Oseni. I mean, earlier today on his live, he was very vexed. Also, he was also asking the same question that we're asking on this platform. What is actually happening? Why are these leaders so insensitive? Let's listen to it.
His questions this morning. Number one, who made the appropriation for the plane, the new plane the president is now having? And the question I also want to ask is, where did that money come from? Was it supposed to be part of some monies that we don't know about? Secondly, Had they bought this plane all this while and they were just going round and round with Nigerians?
Maybe.
Because the question is, all of a sudden they said the former plane was bad, which a lot of people still contested, that the former presidential plane was still pretty much in good shape. And they started giving all sort of excuses. Then after buying the plane, we had another drama that the Chinese seized the plane. Did the Chinese really even seize the plane, or they just used that as an alibi to be able to get into us? I mean, those are the big questions we need to ask this morning, because a president cannot just go ahead and just buy a plane without budgetary allocations. And Nigerians are just, not asking any question. So what is really going on? I mean, I can see a couple of people joining me here. Priscilla Lawson, Lexi Body, Silvana Siyamu. Hey, Olamide, how's it going? Good to see you. Priscilla Iswap. So, I mean, these are the questions we should ask. So all of this was part of the drama all this while. Because now I'm beginning to think even that Chinese thing and judgment there, maybe it's part of the drama. Because all of a sudden, the Chinese now choose to release the new plane they just bought that we didn't see budgetary provision for. And the next thing, the president flies that same plane back to France. What a great way to be able to introduce a new presidential jet. At a time where the dollar to the naira has gotten well over 1,600. The CBN was trying to defend, but it's not been working all this while. This government came into power. Dollar to naira was about 500-600. Today is well over 1,000. And we're not asking questions.
We are.
So what was this plan all along? When did they even buy the plane in the first place? So that means that Sahara Reporter story was true, showing that they had bought the plane long ago. So all of a sudden, the same plane that they say, oh, the Chinese seized, flew in, yes, a couple of days ago, then flew out again. And also, boom, big escalade. Can they also show us the interior of the plane? I'm sure the interior will be nothing less than royal, not even presidential. Can they also show the interior of the plane? Hey, Lamide, how are you now? Been a while. We should speak. Been a while. Can they also show us the interior of the plane? And I dare the president for them to do a tour of the interior of the presidential jet. We have a right to know. And
not only in the government, in the corporate world as well. Now, if you listen to this, for instance, this is Dr. Okechukwu here. Look at this brilliant analogy as to what the mess we found ourselves in.
The fact we keep ignoring is that the Nigerian state, as it exists today, is a very well constructed criminal enterprise.
Honestly, when he talks about the Nigerian state being a criminal enterprise, it's not only the government. Even the private sector is not left out in this criminal enterprise. And that's
with a leadership crisis that cannot be blamed on any political party at all. Because if you look at the ruling party, is it true that more than 60% of them were not in that party before? So let's disaggregate it. Let's even take it away from government so that the criminality will be obvious. Just go and check the profits posted by corporate Nigeria. Dangote Cement, how much profit did he post in the last year? Boa Cement, banks. In an economy like this, a bank is posting 200 and something billion as profit. A cement company is posting between 100 and 217 billion as profit. And then a bag of cement is unaffordable, affecting housing. Now, assuming that company made 5 billion profit, which means what you've got after all you've done, would it have done badly? No. It means that the pricing is dishonest. It means that the controls for consumer protection doesn't exist. It means that government thinking, including that of national planning, industries and job creation, they are not considering the fact that corporate Nigeria is part of a grand conspiracy. You have the political wing. That's why you can get a policy that suits those who are milking us. So putting it all together, what are we talking about? And Benitez spoke about patriotism. The average Nigerian does not see the Nigerian state in any positive light because for him or her, it doesn't exist.
So it doesn't exist because when you begin to look at what the quote unquote leaders are doing, if you look at the thumbnail of this video before you click it, you will see we talk about the yacht that the present government has bought. We talk about the what's it called again? The Escalade that they bought. Which, if you understand Nigerian system, look, when in 1976, former President Murtala Mohammed was killed. Murtala Mohammed was killed in a Mercedes 500. Okay. From the 70s, 80s, 90s, Nigerian presidency has been, known to use Mercedes-Benz S-Class 500 Maybach, right? But suddenly, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, Nigeria is moving away from Mercedes to an American-made car, the Escalade. And the question is, some are insinuating that there might be some backhand, backhand twisting that is making them to patronize an American brand. Why the move? I don't know. But these are things that really will make one to think twice as to what exactly is happening in this place. What exactly is happening in this place. Now, there is also the other part of it, an informed conversation today that happened on Arise TV, still on this trajectory of fuel subsidy. How honest are we with it? Are we just flexing ourselves, lying to Nigerians that this is still, this has been taken away, whereas it's still happening? Just take a listen.
Thank you so much. Some good news from the NNPC just declared 3.3 trillion naira profit for last year. What's your take on that? That's a whole lot of money.
The money has already been spent. I don't think it's good news. And the reason why I said I don't think it's good news is because it's interesting that just a few hours after it was reported that the president had approved for the NNPC to use the remittance is supposed to have done from January to August 2024 to defray for the cost of under-recovery on about 800,000 metric tons of PMS per month. The NNPC announced that its net profit is at 3.3 trillion naira. That money has already been spent. It's paper profits. It's the regular, interim dividend to the shareholder, which is the federating unit, the FGN. But the money has already been spent because that money has been used to defray the cost of under recovery on PMS. So the question we should ask ourselves is, why are we still importing PMS, number one? Does Nigeria actually consume 70 million liters of PMS on a daily basis? Can the regulatory agencies provide evidence to show?
Calvin, we're going to get to that in just a second. Based on these earnings results that we saw, what we are looking at right now is the fact that there was a 3.3 trillion naira that was made by NNPCL last year. So my question was business so good last year? If you look at some of the other graphics we're going to bring on in terms of what our NNPC ended up last year in terms of our total asset it has on its books and all that. So I'm trying to understand where the 3.3 trillion naira actually came from.
Well, you know, NNPC pays, usually gets like tax oil and royalty oil. If you look at the upstream asset that it holds on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria, according to the Petroleum Industry Act, I'll say cumulative average, NNPC has 55% of blocks, both deep offshore, mid-shore, and onshore. NNPC also has a gas business, a Nigerian gas management company, a Nigerian gas infrastructure company, so it sells gas on behalf of Nigeria. You know, it also has a power business. It's building an IPP plant. I think power is going to be like a great part of its future stock of business lines, very productive business lines in the future. NNPC, if it's properly managed, can even turn out in the future to be one of the biggest generating companies in Nigeria for power. It also has a trading arm, of course, that came from Duke Oil to NNPC Trade.
Refinery, we go produce fuel, we never finish them, we never manage them. For how many years we can't produce a drop of oil? And we're now going into energy. We're going into this, we're going into that. Come on. Come on. Shame, not a shame on myself. Isn't that, you know, that there is limit to either what you can grab? I mean, you know, these things doesn't make sense. Why would we be buying a jet, even in, it's a 14-year-old jet, airports, you know, plane. It's a 14-year-old one, right? But the question is, it's very insensitive. Listen, no matter how whatever you talk about, it is very insensitive at this point to be talking of moving from, you know, the people are not yet gotten over buying a yacht, you know, even when the argument is, oh, the yacht is, it was in the budget before we came in, people haven't come off that. Boom. The next thing is that we are, even after the Senate denied that they did not approve any money. Now, if the Senate is denying that they didn't approve any money for the president to buy a presidential jet, then where did the money come from? It's not appropriated. It's not, I mean, how are we even running this country? Are we running the country without law? If I were to be the president, I would not at this stage, at this moment in time. If at all, as the case that was posited by the Senate, oh, that do we want the president to crash this yet? They need a good plane. I'll probably wait. We have about 8 fleet in the presidential jet. Sell 3, acquire the, you know, use the. There is no way you put the money you get from 3, you can acquire 1 good one, right? That's what people with common sense will do. But not this, you know, I mean, the way Nigerian economy is actually, it would not hurt that the president of a federal republic can fly on a linear jet, on a linear plane, fly APs to London, fly, what's it called? Air France to France. What are we talking? Does when French Prime Minister comes here, which jet does he come with? When British Prime Minister comes to Nigeria, which jet does it come with? When German Chancellor comes here, which jet does it come with? I don't know. We are the ones going out there to borrow money. Then we will now be, showing off more than those who are lending us money. If we are deeply serious in curtailing our excesses and spending less, you can't be telling Nigerians, oh, tighten your belt, tighten your belt. Now you go so agbada without belt at all. Eating, like someone who hasn't seen any food in their life. Man, these things are just basically, these things are not it. Honestly, these things are not it. At the end of the day, from nowhere, subsidy is gone. Okay, now subsidy, you go or you no go. Huh? Subsidy, go or you no go.
The first subsidy is gone.
First subsidy is gone. But hey, even when first subsidy is gone, we are still, everything is still like Sapele Road. We know free go front, we know free go back because
5 days it is Sapele Road. I know go back, I know go front. I know Gilima to go back. I know Gilima to come. The road you don't spoil. The people ask, I know Gilima to open the road.
Well, the people will spoil them. Exactly 5 days we day in commotion in Nigeria. We no go front, we no go back. The people will spoil them. They stay there. They no criminal repair them. That is the tragedy of Nigeria. The bastardization of the Nigerian economy by the Tinubu-led APC government. They are just destroying, bastardizing the Nigerian economy. And that is the modest way to say it without really getting anybody worked up. That is the modest way to say it, that these things are not working out. We cannot, in a time that Nigerians are really hungry and hustling, in a time that Nigerians are getting excessively impatient, there is hunger in the land. You're telling them to hold on, that you're doing something. You're telling them to tighten their belt, but you begin to sew your agbada without even rope, no belt hold, nothing, just so loose. Whereas Nigerians are already sewing their clothes according to their material, not even according to their sizes again, because some of them will be lepa lepa. Some of them, one leg no even fit again. People can't even feed. The text messages, the WhatsApp messages, the Facebook Messenger messages, the the X inboxes that people get on a daily basis. I don't know if some of you get this, but on some of these, I don't even go to inboxes again because it's getting ridiculous. It's getting out of hand as a result of government bad policies. Yet, the same government is showing no sign that they actually understand what is at play. People, it's really sad. So I'm still Mazes. Okay, please, if you haven't subscribed to this platform, by all means, like, share, and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Just like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support us, you can. Only 11 people here just have actually liked this stream. Waiting now, waiting we do. Just like they cost any money. Just like only 11 people. Come on, 12. Who's the maker? Thank you. Someone who subscribed now. Let's give you a shout out. Who subscribed? Someone subscribed. Ngozi, thank you for subscribing. Right? See, and that's it. It doesn't hold. But one thing is very clear: is that with this trajectory, right? It's not gonna. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. There is this video by Professor Lumumba, who made an excellent video one time. So that was an event that he delivered a fantastic speech. Right? And let's listen to this speech together. This speech, I'll end with, encapsulates what the essence whole evening rant is all about. Honestly, it's so heartbreaking to see that our leaders, those who probably have grabbed it, those who through judicial coup, as alluded by the professor you're going to watch, are not showing any form of concern. Professor, over to you.
Also ask the question, are coup d'etats only mounted by men and women in uniform? No. I've seen coups mounted by judiciaries in Africa. I've seen coups being mounted by the political class in Africa. When people engage in sophistry in interpreting constitution, those are also coup d'etats. And I would want us, therefore, as we talk about strengthening democracy, we must also talk about strengthening institutions. Whether it is in Kenya, whether it is in Zimbabwe, whether it is in Nigeria, whether it is in Ghana, we must have a culture of respecting institutions. Sometimes in Africa, we behave as if institutions work on their own motion. No. Institutions are as strong as the men and women who occupy them. If you have wrong men and wrong women in office, no matter how strong the institution you claim to be strong, it will not perform, because the history of nature is one: garbage in, garbage out. And if that is the case, therefore, there is no agriculture going on there. There are no health services going on there in Khartoum. The things that they built, they are destroying. It will take generations to rebuild Sudan.
Why?
We are talking about development. In the health sector, all the children that ought to have been vaccinated will not be vaccinated, which means that all the disease that we had conquered will come back again, so that the health burden will be that heavy. No food is being planted, so that we'll once again be importing rice and wheat from Ukraine, which is at war. Look at the Sahel now. Mali is de facto divided into two, no agriculture going on, so that you will be importing chicken from Brazil, chicken. No agriculture. I'm talking about development, brothers and sisters.
You are only talking about chicken. Chicken. Africans. Nigeria, a nation that produces oil. A nation that has refineries in Warri, in Kaduna, in Port Harcourt. How can a people, it's tiring, to be honest with you. You can't even imagine a people. There are so many byproducts when we refine this crude oil, but we take all of them, we give them to refineries elsewhere, Singapore, Malta, wherever it is, they refine. We pay our own product, our own. Sometimes I listen. Sometimes I say, if man were to be God, wallahi talai, Nigeria will not go wake up tomorrow morning. We'll not go get oil. Zero oil. If you want that, make all of us die. If we cannot reset our brain, make all of us die. If man were to be God, we'll go wake up tomorrow morning and zero oil, you go there here. Because it's made us so lazy and we can't even think. Adults ship crude oil, sit down, pay, wait, bring back. How many millions of liters of fuel do we are claiming to be bringing 3 times what we are not consuming. There is a data that came out yesterday. The number of people that fly plane last year total was about 1 point. If I'm not mistaken, either 1 point or 1 point something million or so flights taken for the first 2 quarters. For the first 2 Qs this year, it's only about 8,000 plus. If that trajectory continues, some airlines cannot even repair their planes. It's either planes begin to fall from the sky or they will pack out. Because why? Because we have set of emotionless people who do not have any form of emotion, cannot show empathy, cannot exhibit it, cannot live with it. People who cannot do, the basic things that humans can do. No. Everything is about money, how to grab it, how to run with it. People, I tell you, it's really, like I said before, it's really tiring. Please subscribe, like, and share. On this note, I do not want this broadcast to get up to 1 hour. As many of you say, less makes it better for those who could not join us live. It's much easier for them to watch later. I am still Masters, okay? And I beseech you and I beg you to like and to share and to subscribe. On that note, I say good night. Bye. And may God bless us all. May God bless all the things you do, your hustle. May Nigeria never happen to us. May we outlive the wickedness of the government and their forces. And may we, even in the midst of these, hardship, may we find way to survive. I pray. Good night.
La 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 la.